Welcome back to Triple Alpha Sports Talk. I am myself, Josh Damaj. This is my friend Bryce LeBaum, and this is his uncle, Roy Clapp. And we're going to start things off going over some Week 11 football.
This guy.
Oh, Michigan!
No way. We're going to start it off with Thursday night football, and we had the Bengals going to Baltimore. And I think the first thing that everyone's going to talk about from this game is the injuries. Joe Burrow, torn ligament in his wrist, out for the year. On the other side, Baltimore, Mark Andrews, fractured ankle, likely out for the season. Roy, what were your takeaways from this game in Baltimore?
The hell did you call me?
Roy.
Sound like you said Ray. No, you can tell a team can never know what they're going to do or how good they're going to be when their quarterback goes down. And Joe Burrow's going down. I mean, Baltimore or Bengals were terrible after that.
Yeah.
The Ravens' defense was just out and did what they needed to do. I mean, Jamar Chase was nothing the entire game. I mean, I had him on my fantasy team, and it sucked. I mean, I think 2 catches, and only like 4 targets.
Yeah.
So it's not a very good day. But no,
I think one plus for the Ravens that we saw is that Odell Beckham Jr. is playing like Odell Beckham Jr. again.
Had a vintage game from OBJ.
Ravens are looking good.
Don't get too hyped on him.
Bengals secondary struggled this year, so
yeah.
It did seem like they had a objective to give him the ball out there in open space a little bit more than the last few weeks. But so Bryce, when it comes to Joe Burrow, he's out for the season. The Bengals are 5-5 right now. What do you see the rest of the season looking like?
I mean, their backup came in and really didn't play that bad, but they're at the bottom of their division right now.
Yep.
And is T. Higgins even back yet?
T. Higgins, I believe, missed the game. I believe he should be back next week. But
I know he didn't play, but
he's week to week.
I don't see them making the playoffs this year. And at the beginning of the year, I thought they were maybe a Super Bowl favorite with Joe Burrow playing great football. And with Joe Burrow going out, I just don't see them doing good anymore this year.
Roy, you said that you have Jamar Chase on your fantasy team. What do you think this means for Jamar Chase losing Joe Burrow for the season?
Well, I mean, he's struggled other than about 3 games this year. Even Joe Burrows hasn't gotten the ball. So it's not like it's going to change anything. He's going to be more frustrated. He's kind of got the Terrell Owens type that he wants the damn ball. So it's going to be the same thing. The Bengals are just not the good team. They're not going to be anything. They're not going to make the playoffs. They might as well. I mean, Joe Mixon, I think they were trying to, get him going this year, and he hasn't really done it. I mean, he scored a touchdown every week, but he's not getting the yardage he used to. So they might be looking to start changing their roster a little bit.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think this might be a chalk it up and move it on to next year for the Bengals. You're, like Bryce said, bottom of the division, out of the playoffs right now. Browning coming in, I don't know if they have.
My biggest issue with this is the scandal with the Bengals video of Joe Burrow stepping off the bus with the hand sling. Yeah. I don't know if anybody's been following Dave Portnoy on this, but he's trying to sue the Bengals right now over gambling issues because obviously you're not going to bet on somebody to throw if they're throwing him and has a torn ligament that the Bengals just hide before the game. And that's not fair as somebody who lost money to it as well. Yeah. So I'm with Dave Portnoy, and I'm an advocate for suing the Bengals to get our money back on this.
Hey, then you join the lawsuit, Bryce. Join in on a lawsuit. Put your money down and join him on a lawsuit.
I will. I'll put all my earnings on my next bet straight to the lawsuit for Dave Portnoy. Portnoy 2024.
So Bengals, bottom of the division, Burrow down for the year. On the flip side, Baltimore gets the win, big division win at home. I'll give this one to you, Roy. Is Baltimore legit?
Yes, I think they are. I think they are legit. I think Lamar Jackson's looking pretty dang good. Now, I mean, Mark Andrews going down, that's going to be that's his safety blanket. It's going to be hard.
It's true.
And that's going to cause – and you still got OBJ out there. The problem is Mark Andrews took defenders away from him. So it's going to be tough for him to get open. But, I mean, they've got to – I mean, that's a pretty good – that defense is back to being the normal Ravens defense. So –
especially getting cold now. That defense is going to start playing.
And Harbaugh's probably one of the best coaches in football too. So,
Bryce, how about you? You think Baltimore is legit?
Baltimore is legit, and the reason is Lamar Jackson is standing in the pocket and making good throws more than he ever has, in my opinion, and that makes a defense just be in shambles when you have a quarterback with his caliber of speed and running that's also standing in the pocket and throwing great passes. It's just a very dynamic offense. Obviously, losing Mark Andrews is going to hurt them.
Yeah.
But I think that they have receivers that can step up, and Lamar being Lamar, he's going to find the open receiver, and they're going to be a good team this year.
I agree. I do think Baltimore is legit, but I do think that offense without Mark Andrews becomes a lot worse, and I think that defense is going to have to play even better. I don't know how many points they're going to put up every week. I mean, they do have Gus Edwards, who scores about 4 touchdowns a game, but outside of that, those receivers need to start playing a little better. All right, we'll slip into the noon slot. We each picked one game this week to highlight, and we'll talk about all 3 of them. I'll start with mine, and I went with the Tennessee Titans in Jacksonville. And the first thing I'll talk about Tennessee because they lost, is Will Levis to DeAndre Hopkins has been a great connection since he took over for Ryan Tannehill. I don't know if any of you guys have Will Levis on your fantasy team or DeAndre Hopkins.
No,
but
they're both players you should be starting if you have them, though. Or if you're somebody who had Joe Burrow and you need a quarterback to step up going into the playoffs, Will Levis is a good pick for you because he is throwing to D Hopkins like no other. I think he had 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Yep. He played a very, very good game, and he is a good backup.
As a rookie quarterback, you need to find that safety blanket, and he's found one with DeAndre Hopkins, and it looks very good, even though they didn't play too well here in Jacksonville. The other thing I want to talk about is Jacksonville's quarterback, Trevor Lawrence. 2 rushing touchdowns this week, and he was not looking to run. Those were scramble drills, finding the end zone. If Trevor Lawrence is going to run like this.
That's the same thing he did in Clemson. I mean, just ran when he needed to. I mean, so just him back.
Yeah, I mean, if Trevor Lawrence can run like that with ETN and the weapons they have on the outside, that's a dangerous team. We watched the highlights. Bryce, what were your takeaways from this game?
My biggest thing is that Trevor Lawrence is getting the ball to Calvin Ridley more, and that makes this offense 100 times better when Calvin Ridley is your number 1 target.
Yep.
My biggest downside to how Jacksonville played is I felt ETN was not involved enough. What was his name? Johnson, maybe?
Dearness Johnson, yep.
He got the ball way more than ETN, in my opinion, and that's just not how their offense should be running. They have one of the better running backs in the league, and they need to get him involved more.
Yeah, I think they got up quite a bit early. I mean, it was like 20-0 or something like that. And I think they see Ernest Johnson and Tank Bigsby as more of their power backs and ETN as their every down back. So I think they kind of just rolled with them with the big lead. But I agree. I have ETN on my fantasy team, quiet day, so get him more involved. I agree. Roy, what about you? What were your takeaways?
I mean, I think for both teams, they don't run the ball. I mean, I didn't think Derrick Henry had much of it. I mean, it's just 2 teams that are known for their running game.
Yep.
For 2 teams that are known for the running game, that's all Tennessee used to do was run the ball with Derrick Henry, and they both kind of got away with it. As a person who has Calvin Ridley on his fantasy team, who all year has sucked it up, and not starting him this week, and then having a great game, that pissed me off. So, but it's good to see. Trevor Lawrence he's got potential to be a good arm. I mean, he's got one.
Yeah.
I mean, he had it at Clemson when he had T. Higgins and those guys all around him, and he's got some good receivers. He just need to use them now. I think Peterson, the coach. He's known for being a good coach. I mean, he took the Eagles to Super Bowl. I think he can do it. He's good with young guys. And he just got to continue to do that, keep developing Trevor Lawrence. So Jacksonville, weak division. So Jacksonville might make a stink in the playoffs, but I don't think I'm not looking for him to do too much.
Yeah. So that leads me to my last point for the Jacksonville Tennessee game. With Jacksonville leading the division, Texans are right behind him. They go to Houston this week. Is it Jacksonville's division to lose, or do you think, I shaking your head, yes, Roy, you believe that?
Yes, it's Jacksonville's division.
Yeah. Bryce,
I agree. They're a good young team who's up and coming, but this is Jacksonville's division.
I agree. Right now. I think they just have more pieces around them and a better defense overall than Houston. And I think this is
a better defense. Yep. That's gonna and it'll cause CJ Stroud to have some problems.
I agree. All right, we'll move into Bryce's choice for his game. Non-bias aside, this was a good game, so
not going to go over. Go Lions!
Bears in Detroit, and Bryce, I'll let you rip right off the start.
Bears in Detroit, this to me was the best game that could possibly happen for the Bears fans because we proved that we can play offense for once with a fully healthy team. Our defense was fully healthy, and it showed its weaknesses, especially in 2-minute drills. But in set just defense, it really doesn't look as bad as what some people were saying, in my opinion. Our 2-minute drill is horrible, though, and needs a lot of patchwork. And us losing a game that nobody's lost in this manner since 1930s just shows that our coaching needs fired now. And the fact that he has the audacity to come out and say after the game that Justin Fields missed a wide open DJ Moore to get a first down at the end of the game. This guy ran 2 up the middle runs in the first 2 downs of the drive to win the game. And then Justin Fields threw a great ball to a rookie Scott who slowed down and dropped it. This is not on Justin Fields. This is Matt Eberflus. He is a defensive-minded coach who came out there and sucked. He has been horrible all season long, and there is no reason that Ryan Poles needs to keep him on this roster. It is unbelievable.
Well, he really let that one out, didn't he, Roy?
I put on Twitter.
Some emotion in there.
I put on Twitter that if I see Matt Eberflus, it is on site. I will beat his ass.
Hey, what did you have? A 12-point lead with 4 minutes to go or something like that? Was that what the
3 minutes.
How many?
With
3 minutes.
With 4 turnovers.
Oh my gosh. But you know what the best part of that whole thing was? Lions were going to win, and they got capitalized by an awesome fucking Aiden Hutchinson knocking the shit out of Justin Fields for the knock it out. Michigan player showing an OSU player what it really means. So that's all that mattered to me. I don't care. Go Lions.
Mm-hmm. One play. This game showed that the Lions are gonna get beat by a good team in the playoffs. If they're at home and Jared Goofball is sitting in the backfield throwing 3 interceptions and they're turning over the ball 4 times, that's not a playoff team, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Or someone that's gonna win a playoff game.
They're gonna make it to the NFC Championship.
We'll get to that in about 5 minutes. So, yeah, I agree with Bryce. I see this as non-Bears fan. I don't care who wins the game. That was a perfect game. They played well. You know, they didn't get blown out, but they lost, so they continue to get a better draft pick. For me, that's all Bears fan can really ask for.
We're going to trade Justin Fields, so.
That leads me to my next question. How legit are the Detroit Lions? They're 8-2, second best record in the NFC behind the Philadelphia Eagles. Roy, you count yourself as a Lions fan, and I just heard you say the NFC Championship game. How legit are the Lions?
I think they're legit. Got a good running game and a good defense. That's all you need when you get in the postseason. So,
very true.
I mean, Jared Goff, throw 2 interceptions, 3 interceptions. They came back from him. I think he did a good job. I mean, I think he's a steady quarterback. He's not a flashy one. Yeah. I think they're good enough to make it to the NFC Championship. I don't know if they're good enough to beat the Eagles. So,
Bryce, what do you think? How legit are the Lions?
I think they're obviously a playoff team. They're going to win the North.
Yep.
But who they play in the playoffs, if they're making mistakes like that, they're not going to win a game against a good team. And I see the Eagles rolling them in the NFC Championship if they make it there.
I do. I like this team, actually, the Lions. I like them a lot. I do not think they're very legit, though. I think they could win their first playoff matchup if they play a wild card team. I do. I do not think they are better than the Eagles at all. I do not think they're better than the 49ers at all. And I do not think they're better than the Cowboys. Even though I do think they could beat the Cowboys, I do not think they're better than the Cowboys. To me, the Lions are a team that have to play from ahead outside of a team that's very poor like the Bears defense because they could come back. I don't see this team coming back from very much. I think, like Roy said, Jared Goff's a very good quarterback, but he's also not a guy that's going to go win you a whole lot of football games by himself. And if they get down 14 points in a playoff game, I don't know if they can lean on the run game as much as they'd like, as if they were ahead.
They got it. I think it's back-to-back weeks where they've had to come back and win. They find ways to win, and I think it's a team that's just got things going. I mean, they got a lot of talent on that, a lot of young talent on that team. So I think they can really make some noise. And
I really do think that they can win their first round matchup, whoever it is. But if you had a Final Four of Philly, San Fran, Dallas, and Detroit, I don't know if they beat any of those teams. But we shall see. And, yeah, I agree with Bryce. I'm not going to say his last name right. that coach needs gone. He's a defensive-minded coach, and he can't get a stop at the end of the first half or two drives to finish the game. I think he needs to be gone. All right, that rolls us into Roy's.
I can't even listen to this guy talk.
This rolls us into Roy's pick of the week. Giants at Washington. Roy, your game. I'll let you roll it.
Could you find two worse teams? I mean, that was about as pathetic of a performance. I mean, how do you let a guy who played at Illinois, who couldn't throw a ball at Illinois, he threw 246 yards and sacked 9 times in a game, and you still win? I mean,
yeah.
Washington's defense was supposed to be good, and they were horrible. I mean, other than the sacks, they let them go up and down. They didn't give any rushing yards, but their DBs just let them finish the game. Some big plays hurt. Both teams are just terrible. I think you're gonna find. I think right there you've seen. This is Ron Rivera's last hurrah at Washington. I think he's fired, and I think
yep.
Giants are smart. They're gonna fire their coach. I think they need to reboot, get a different quarterback. I think they need to trade Barkley. That's their only saving grace is Saquon Barkley. I mean, he's just too talented.
I think he's on a 1-year deal. I think he's set to be a free agent after this season.
It sucks that he's on a crappy team. I mean, they're just both bad. So it was just a bad game. I can't believe the Giants won. So.
Yeah, my takeaways are Washington loses this game because of the turnovers. They've turned over 6 times. You're not going to win a football game in national football. You turn the ball over 6 times. 9 sacks, as you said, against the Giants, and they still lose the game. I don't know if that's ever happened before in the history of the sport. And my third note is wins by Michigan quarterbacks this week, 0, Illinois 1. So take that as a win.
One time by a guy
Tommy DeVito, baby.
Parents' house.
Let's go. Tommy DeVito. Let's go. Bryce, how about you? What are your takeaways?
So I do agree with Roy. I think Rivera's gone because I do like this Commanders team. They have a lot of good pieces that they can build on. But when you've got Sam Howell throwing the ball 45 times a game, you're just asking for turnovers at that point. I like Sam Howell. I like how he plays. He kind of reminds me of a Baker Mayfield back when he was coming up in the league. And you should not see him throwing 45 times.
Yeah.
I mean, they had 5 turnovers. I think, 2 or 3 of them were fumbles. And then you have Sam Howell lobbing it up in the air at the end of the game for a pick 6 to end it. I think Terry McLaurin needs involved more. Best 2 players I saw in the game were Logan Thomas and Brian Robinson Jr. They had both phenomenal games. But you got to get the ball to your receiver. I mean, he had 5 catches and only 1 in the last 2 drives to win the game. That's just not how you win a football game. Not giving the ball to your best receiver,
Yep.
It's just not going to happen.
He's been hitting all year. I mean, they haven't thrown him the ball hardly at all in
Yeah.
the last 2 or 3 years. So, and I don't think they utilize that running game hardly at all. I mean, they do. I mean, they got talented Brian Robinson, and they just don't use him in the right situation. They just.
I think that has to do with more of the offensive line than because I think they ran the ball very well, other than the goal line.
Yeah, I mean, they just got. I mean, Washington needs a reboot. I mean, new coach, get some new players in there, and
I agree.
It's terrible. Both teams are terrible.
All right, we'll roll on into Sunday Night Football, where the Vikings went into Denver, and this was a crucial game for both teams. Not a must-win, but as close as a must-win as you're going to get this early in the season. Denver comes out ahead, and my first takeaway from this game was the dropped pick at the end of the first half for Minnesota allows Denver to get the field goal. That changes how the end of the game went down. You wouldn't have needed a touchdown. You would have only needed a field goal. What else did I have here?
We didn't get to see primetime Kirko, but we got to see the pasture.
Joshua Dobbs looks good. Here's my other note, and that is on the final drive, the Minnesota Vikings playing defense, they allow Samaje Perine to catch the ball 5 times for about 50 yards on checkdowns to get into the range, and then Cortland Sutton caps it off with a touchdown. You cannot play prevent defense the entire way on a 2-minute drill. I don't care. Your chances of giving up a pass interference in the end zone are likely once you get that close. I hate playing defense that way, but those are my takeaways. Bryce?
Yeah, I mean, I love watching Josh Dobbs play right now.
Oh, yeah.
He is bringing just this electricity to Vikings that I don't think they've seen in a long time, with people like Cousins and whoever else they've had.
Brett Favre.
Who sits in the pocket. Like, we have a
Culpepper. Jeez.
Yeah.
I like to see Dobbs. He's throwing good passes, making smart plays, and he's running the ball well. Like, we never see that out of Vikings, and it's just nice to see. Even though they didn't get the win, I liked watching how the Dobbs played.
Yeah. I think that Minnesota had all the chances in this game to win. I don't think they took advantage of a lot of the opportunities.
Yeah. I think Dobbs has played way better than I thought he'd play. I mean, coming over and not knowing the offense. And I
Playbook,
think, and I just don't know. I mean, Denver, they continue to win despite Russell Wilson. I mean, I just don't know how that's possible. That defense is just it's saving him 90% of the time. But I mean, Russell Wilson just, I don't know. He used to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and he has just been a disgrace, in my opinion, of how bad he's fallen. But I got to give Sean Payton, he is one of the, I mean, I did not think Denver was going to be this good. Did not think they'd win this many games. And I think Sean Payton has done a great job. And I think he'll get it when he gets his quarterback in there. Denver's going to be scary. Just got to build some pieces around it. But they just keep winning. I don't know how. Minnesota did have some chances. Should have capitalized on those chances. And just didn't do it. But I think it's just, like I said, I don't know how Denver keeps winning with Russell Wilson still as a quarterback.
I agree. I agree with you completely, Roy. All right, let's move it on to last night's Monday Night Football game, and I'll tell you what, this was a good game to watch.
Great game.
Philly in Kansas City, bad weather, football weather, man. You got to love watching stuff like that. Bryce, I'll let you lead it off. What are your takeaways from last night in the Super Bowl rematch?
My biggest takeaways is that I still think Eagles are the best team in the league, but for some reason the Chiefs have something on them that Chiefs should have won this game, in my opinion.
Yep.
They played much better on both sides of the ball. Patrick Mahomes is playing at a high level still, but he has no receivers. Yep. Travis Kelce was even dropping passes last night. I mean, it's just horrible to watch this guy play at Hall of Fame level football and his receivers dropping game-winning catches.
Yeah.
It's just...
I mean, the weather has to play into account a little bit, but I agree.
Not as bad as some of he had probably 3 catches on the last drive that were just completely dropped. Yeah. I mean, those catches are made. They win. I win money on the Chiefs. That's just how it would have went. Yeah.
Bryce, Roy, how about you? What are your takeaways watching last night?
I agree with Bryce that receivers for that game should have been over. I mean, the wide open. 85% of receivers in NFL football is going to make that catch. Probably 90%. Should have made that catch. I mean, and I agree. Patrick Mahomes is playing. He can still throw the ball around. Weather had something to do with it, but those guys, I mean, they had so many chances to get back into or to take that lead, to do things. And that defense for Chiefs has improved a lot and are very good. Now the Eagles are. I mean, they're patient and just do the things. I don't think they use their receivers very well. I mean, they got some dynamic ball players on that Eagles team. And how about AJ Brown have what 2 catches?
One catch for 8 yards. Yep.
I mean, they didn't. I didn't feel they got him like 4 or 5 targets, but I didn't feel like they were getting him where he needed to be. But again, Jalen Hurts didn't have a lot of time back there to throw the ball.
No, not at all.
They rely on Jalen Hurts to make all the plays and to try to and then run him, and they're going to get him getting hurt. And that's what's going to hurt the Eagles if they don't watch it.
Yeah, my takeaways were pretty similar. I was very shocked at how much pressure Philly gave up against the Kansas City line. I mean, Philly has one of the best offensive line in football, especially in a muddy, slick game. You wouldn't think that they'd be, firing off the line. I was very shocked to see 5 sacks on Hurts, someone who can get away from pressure when he needs to. The drops, everybody's going to talk about the drops. I mean, they are what they are. I mean, and Kansas City's – what's that?
Travis Kelce fumbling it inside the 10-yard line. I mean, that's just ridiculous.
Doesn't help. I agree. But Kansas City's penalties on the O-line, I think, killed them quite a bit. I mean, they had a couple big plays, 10, 15 yards, and they're getting offside or false starts. And it's the tackles, really. It's not the inside O-line. It's the 2 tackles, older veterans that are giving it up. But, I was whole game, it felt like Kansas City was ahead. I had looked up, Kansas City down 4 after the late Philly touchdown.
You guys still think Kansas City is the team in the AFC to beat?
I do. I think that it's going to go through Arrowhead. I think they're going to finish as the 1 seed, and I think that is the hardest place to play in football right now. They get cold. I think Baltimore is right there, but I think Mark Andrews going down hurts them quite a bit. Cincinnati, you probably think are out. Buffalo's struggling, but I think
Miami
Buffalo when they're on. No, not against Kansas City. I don't. If you're going to go to an offensive game, I know Miami probably has a better offense, but Kansas City's defense is much better than Miami's. I still think they're the team to beat. Now, will they make it to the Super Bowl? I'm not sure, but I think they're the team to beat because I think they're going to be the 1 seed and it's going to go through Arrowhead.
Yeah, I agree. Kansas City's defense is unreal right now. And no matter who they've got back on their offense, they still have the best quarterback in the league who's making great plays. And Pacheco is playing out of his mind as well. So they have a great run game to go with mediocre receivers, but with a Hall of Fame quarterback throwing to him. Yeah.
What about you, Roy? You think they're the team to beat?
I do. I think they're the team to beat. I think that defense is going to carry them. I mean, and that's what you have to have a decent defense to to get to the Super Bowl, and I think that's what they got.
And they have so much experience. The last couple of years they've been making it to Super Bowls. They're going to be ready.
So,
all right, that's going to do it for Week 11. We're going to look ahead to Week 12, and we're going to go over our picks. And with that, we'll go over what our picks were from last week, and I'll let you guys know the record. We had Bryce come out on top this week. He went 10-4, I believe. Yes, Bryce goes 10-4. I finished in second, 507-7, and Roy down at the bottom at 6-8, game behind.
Roy clearly doesn't know football.
So,
I clearly know more than you guys. They just got a little unlucky 1 week.
Those were Week 11 stats, and we'll keep a tally all the way through the rest of the season. And we'll roll on to Week 12. The 3 Thanksgiving games, we got Packers in lines. Bryce, what do you got?
Give me Detroit.
All right.
I know Green Bay won last week, but they're not a good team. Detroit's going to roll over, in my opinion.
Roy, how about you?
Oh, yeah, Detroit. Thanksgiving Day, man. Detroit. Yep. So I'm going Detroit.
I am also going to go with Detroit at home, Thanksgiving special. It's the first year. I think they've really been good on Thanksgiving, so I'm finally excited to watch the morning game. After that, we're going to have the Commanders go to Dallas. I'm rolling with the boys because I'll tell you what, Deron Bland, 5th pick 6 coming this week because they're going to turn it over 5 times.
Sam Hell might throw him 3 this week.
All right. You on the Cowboys as well?
I will also take the Cowboys.
Roy?
They play good against bad teams.
This is easy. Cowboys will win, and that's just pathetic.
All right. And then the Thanksgiving night game, 49ers and Seahawks. This is a good game, I'll tell you what. It's in Seattle. Roy, how about you? What do you think on this one?
I think San Francisco's rolling. I'm going with San Francisco.
All right.
Give me the upset. It's hard to win in Seattle. Seattle plays good football, and if 49ers aren't in the game, they're going to lose this game.
Yeah, I'm torn on this one. If Geno Smith didn't have an elbow injury a little bit, but I picked against the Niners last week, and I lost and looked like an idiot. I want Seattle. Give me San Francisco. Move us on into the first ever Black Friday football game. Amazon had to get their game somewhere this week.
Wow.
Heck yeah.
Dolphins at the Jets. And Zach Wilson is a 3rd string. He will not be playing. Bryce, what do you think?
Give me Miami by as many as double the spread. They're winning this game by a blowout.
Okay. Roy?
It's not going to be a blowout because it's supposed to rain and all that crap in New York. So I'm going to go Miami.
Yeah. Man, the Jets just need a quarterback. I'm out. I have to take Miami as well. Moving on into Sunday, we got the Buccaneers at the Colts. I'm a sucker for them Buccaneers. I'm going to rock with the Bucs. Roy?
Bucks. Colts suck.
Bucs.
Give me Buccaneers. I want to see Baker Mayfield throw.
Buccaneers. Patriots at Giants. Man, 10 years ago, we would have thought this was a good game.
Yeah.
Not so much anymore. Roy, what do you got?
I'm going to go with the Pats. I don't think Giants can do it 2 weeks in a row.
I disagree. Give me Danny DeVito going in there and getting a win.
Danny DeVito.
I am going to go with the Patriots because Bill Belichick's going to have Tommy DeVito seeing ghosts out there. He's going to be so confused. I'll take the Patriots. Steelers at Bengals. Roy?
I'm gonna go Steelers. I don't think the Bengals with the quarterback out, I don't think they'll do it.
Steelers did just fire their OC,
They
didn't
did.
they? First fire of a Steelers coach in like 100 years or something like
in
that.
the season.
Yeah, so I mean, without the Bengals having Joe Burrow, I'm gonna go Steelers. As much as it pains me to, they're a team that wins games like these, and as much as I hate watching them win, they win games.
Oh, this one's hard because I don't think either of the teams are good now. I'm gonna pick the Bengals for an upset at home. Maybe a little Joe Burrow silhouette. I don't know. Give me the Bengals. Panthers at Titans. Titans, not even close.
You know, I think this will be closer than what you think it is, but I am also going to go Titans. I think Derrick Henry is going to have one of his better games this season, and he's going to run for at least one touchdown.
Titans. Not even
Titans. Here we go. Good game this week. Jaguars go to Houston. Bryce, I'll let you start.
This is a big game, but
this is.
You know, Houston's rolling, and I think C.J. Stroud's going to have another good game, and they're going to come out with a win against Jacksonville at home.
All right. Roy?
Jacksonville. Don't even think Houston will do it.
I'm going to go with Jacksonville as well. I think Trevor Lawrence is playing too good right now. If they get Calvin Ridley involved, I don't think they have. I think it's a close game, but I still think Jacksonville. Saints in Atlanta. I believe both teams coming off a bye. Roy?
I am going to go with the Saints. I'm going to go in Atlanta and beat them.
All right.
I also think the Saints will probably go into Atlanta and beat them. They have all the pieces in Atlanta and they don't use them. Give me the Saints.
True. I'm going to go with Falcons. I think they're going to get Bijan Robinson going a little bit. Career high in touches last game before the bye. I'll go with the Falcons. That takes us into the 3 o'clock slate. Rams in Arizona. Roy?
I'm going to go with the Rams. I don't think Kyler Murray can do it in Arizona. I think the Rams got it.
I'm actually going to go Arizona. I think Kyler Murray played a great game.
Yeah.
And them being at home, he's going to have a good week. Even though this is double XP right now in Call of Duty, I think Kyler Murray will.
That makes me want to rethink my decision now. I'm just kidding. I'm going to roll with the Cardinals as well because I hate the Rams. Browns at the Broncos. I'll go first on this one. Can Dorian Thompson-Robinson go into Denver and win? No, he cannot. I'll take the Broncos in a 9-6 game.
You know, I agree with Josh. I think this is going to be a really low-scoring game, and Denver seems to win, though, so give me Denver.
I agree. I think it'll be a low-scoring game. Denver's going to win.
All right. Ooh. 3:25 slate. Bills in Philly. Philly coming off big win. Bills struggling. Bryce?
I'm going to be honest. I don't think this is going to be a close game. Buffalo's not playing the football that I think Buffalo should be playing right now, and I think Phillies are coming off that close game. They're ready for the playoffs. They're going to come out here and they're going to win this game.
Roy?
Philly's going to win. Buffalo's not playing well. I think it's Philly, and Philly's got things going, so it'll be Philadelphia.
I'm also going to take Philadelphia due to the Bills' defensive injuries starting to pile up. Chiefs go to Vegas to face the Raiders. I'm going to take the Chiefs. I'm going to take it pretty quick.
Yeah, I don't know if there's much debate. I don't see the Raiders scoring almost anything, maybe 10 points, but Chiefs are going to win this game.
Chiefs are going to blow them out. So
yeah. You have Aiden O'Connell as your quarterback, you're not going to win too many games.
Yeah.
Sunday Night Football. This is a good one. Ravens go to SoFi to face the Chargers. I think I'm going to go first, and I'm going to take the upset. I'm kidding. I'm taking the Ravens. Bryce?
All right, give me the Ravens as well. I think this will probably be a close game. I think we're going to see Jay Herbo play a good game, and then they're going to go down and they're going to lose it for themselves like they do every game.
Every week.
I think the Ravens are going to get them. I don't think it'll be as close as you think.
And that takes us to Monday Night Football, where your Chicago Bears are going to head into Minnesota to play the Vikings. I'm going to take the Vikings.
You know, honestly, I think the Bears will win this game. Justin Fields is playing great right now. Depending on if we see a head coach fire this week or not, that would probably sway my answer. But if Matt Eberflus is still playing, they'll probably still – I think they can pull out a win here in Vikings against Josh Dobbs.
All right.
No. Minnesota's going to win. Justin Fields is going to be sitting crying on the sidelines after his OSU team gets beat. So, and he's going It won't even be close. Minnesota's going to go in there and are going to host the Bears. Bears are going to suck it up, and it's going to be Minnesota.
All right, that's going to do it for our Week 12 picks, and we'll roll on into college football. Roy, I'll let you start us off for some college football.
All right, big week. This is the biggest week for. We're in the last week of college football. Got some big games going on. The first four, in my opinion, have pretty much been decided right now. You got 5 undefeated teams, but Florida State just lost their starting quarterback. And they did not look good after he went down. And I don't think they're going. I think they got Florida left, and then they got to go into ACC championship and play Louisville. So
Louisville probably. Yep,
it'll be Louisville. So big week for Michigan. Ohio, OSU, man, that's the big week. The game.
Yeah, I was going to say I think that is the game of the week. Most teams will look at. Usually Auburn and Bama have a little bit better of a game, but Auburn isn't having the season they usually have. I agree. I think Ohio State and Michigan have the game of the week. I think that's when everyone's going to be watching.
I think Ohio State's going to go in there and win this game. I think that Michigan can't stop.
Whatever. It's not even going to be a
and
good game.
This isn't going to be like last year where they had all their signs and they're going to make them look like a bad team. They're not cheating this year, so it's going to be an even playing field. And we're going to see OSU come out.
Ryan Day even said last year he changed his signs for that game and still got his ass beat. It won't. It's not even going to be a good game. Michigan's going to go to OSU is having them come in that cold weather. It's supposed to be 33 degrees or 34. They're going to complain about how cold it is and get their ass beat like they did 2 years ago and up at the big house.
Is this game in Michigan, Roy, or is it in Ohio State?
It's in Ann Arbor.
Okay. Roy, I got a question for you. Do you think that – I think we asked this question last week. Do you think that the loser – can get in? I know that you said, it's possible, but do you think they will get in?
Right now, I would say no. I think the loser would not get in because I really think you pretty much, because I think Georgia and Alabama, Georgia and Alabama are going to play an SEC championship.
Yeah.
And do you still think Alabama wins this game?
I still think Alabama wins this game. I think Georgia's good, but I think Alabama still wins the game. The problem, then you still have you got Ohio State or Michigan is going to be undefeated, so they're in. Washington, I still think is going to lose to Oregon in the Pac-10 or 12 championship because I think Washington doesn't look that good. And I think Oregon's looking really good. So the problem is you're going to have about 4 teams with 1 loss because I don't think Florida State's going to come out of it undefeated and they're going to fall back. So that they're going to say Washington or Oregon is better than the loser of the Big Ten. I don't think I think for money reasons, they want SEC in there because they want 2 of those teams in there. There is a chance. I think if Michigan loses, they're out. But I think Ohio State has a chance just because the committee does like Ohio State. Michigan's just a hated team, and I don't mind it. I love being the haters.
Yeah.
We're going to kick some ass this weekend. Go Blue.
What is your four in right now? Who do you think will be the 4 teams in?
If I had to pick right now, and you talking about after the end of the season or just right now?
Yes, end of the season.
Well, I would say it would be I would say the undefeated. I think Michigan will be 1 because I think they're the only team that's going to be undefeated, and I think it's going to be Georgia 2, and then I think they're going to go Oregon 3, Alabama 4 because they won't put SEC playing each other. I think that's the 4.
I can agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a possibility to see that. Roy, I got to ask you about the big game. Michigan fan, non-biased aside, even though this does really only pertain to Michigan. Do you think Jim Harbaugh not being on the sideline affects this game at all? I mean, I know he's there during the week, but he's not going to be there during the game.
Now, this will be the 6th game he's missed this year. So Sherrone Moore has done a great job. And they've just had controversy all year. I mean, it's been crap all year. The team, from everything I've read, from everything, watching everything, I think the team is rallying around each other. I really think everybody says we took Maryland easy. We had problems with them. We didn't play a couple guys. Roman Wilson got hurt early. He could have came back in, but he didn't. We did the same thing with Illinois last year. When Illinois came in Ann Arbor last year,
we had them.
Sat 6 players. Illinois should have beaten us. We played.
Yeah,
like
We were at that game actually.
Yeah, we were at that game, and I just think that, and we came in this week thinking the same way. We got up early on Maryland, thought we had them beat, took it easy, and we didn't. We were trying to keep JJ McCarthy from getting hurt because everybody's pissed that he didn't throw well, but we didn't do much with it. So, but I think the team is ready. They're pissed off because all this sign gate crap started from OSU. So, I mean, they've got proof that they started, and that's fine with us. It's just, I mean, this is the game. I mean, the only matchup between these two teams that could say they had a 10-year war. I mean, they fight, they hate each other.
Yeah.
I can't stand Ohio State. Don't even want to talk about them halftime.
Yep. Okay, that leads me to another one. We're going to get off of the Michigan and Ohio State game. Florida State loses their quarterback for the season, gruesome injury. They're 11-0. They play Florida this week. They could lose, but let's say they win, and they go to the ACC championship game against Louisville, and they win. They're undefeated.
They're in.
Are they in? I agree.
I mean, you cannot take a team that's undefeated. That's undefeated.
I agree.
SEC
fans will probably be very upset with that statement, but I agree.
I mean, they're deserving to get in, but it's just going to be unfortunate because you know they're probably not going to win that semifinal game without a quarter, their star. But I agree that they do get in.
I don't think they can beat Louisville. Louisville's playing really well, playing good football, and I just think Florida State, they need a quarterback, and they've relied on their quarterback to move the ball halftime. I think Florida's going to give them a game. I don't know if Florida can beat them. Florida's not very good, but Louisville's a pretty good team. I think Louisville could get them.
All right, that's going to lead me, and Bryce. I'm going to ask you this first, and then I want to roll it over to Roy. So Roy, you said you think Bama, they went out, they beat Georgia in the SEC championship. Let's say they make it and they don't beat Georgia. So Georgia finishes undefeated. Do you think they finish number 1, Roy?
Yes, Georgia will finish 1 if they beat Alabama.
Okay, and I agree. And that's going to lead me into the question, what happens with Texas if they win out and win the Big 12? So in this scenario, we'll go Georgia undefeated and beats Bama. Bama has 2 losses, and they're not in. So Georgia at 1. We'll just say Big 10 winner at 2. We'll say Florida State at 3. We'll just say, actually, no. We'll go Pac-12 winner, Oregon or Washington, at 3. Do you think that Texas has a chance to get in?
Yes, just because they're a high price name, and they would want them into the they'll draw fans, they'll draw people watching them. So yeah, I think they have a shot. I do not think they're better than the loser of the Michigan Ohio State game, and I don't think they're better than the Oregon or Washington loser. I think they're.
Do you think that? So you said you don't think they're better. So we'll just say the Pac-12 loser and the Big 10 loser. Do you think that the committee will value Texas's loss better than that loss? Let's say for either the Big 10 or the Pac-12. So you think they would be over them?
Yes, because they'll take the Alabama win even if Alabama loses Georgia, they'll take the Alabama win as a more significant win than anybody else.
How about you, Bryce? What do you think? What do you think about Texas? Where do you think?
I agree with Roy. Them being a Southern team, they have that committee love for football and stuff. Like Texas is a good team still, so I do see them getting in because I also see Georgia winning against Alabama. I think they are clearly the best team in football right now. So that's my opinion on it.
Yeah, I think Texas to me is the fascinating team because to me, Texas, their loss is to Oklahoma, who has started to fall down the rankings a little bit. And to me, that's a more significant loss than, let's say, Oregon and Washington go in and Washington loses, which Washington will have one loss and it'll be to Oregon. To me, that is still a better loss than Texas's loss, even though they don't have the win. I mean, I guess over Oregon, earlier in the season, but to me, I keep seeing Texas hype, and I just not really getting. I don't know why the committee would view them over the loser of.
I think Texas could lose to Oklahoma in the pack.
Yeah, they've lost once already, so yeah.
Still think they could lose. Quentin Ewers is good, but he's not. He just struggles. He just struggles at times. So
yeah,
I think they could win.
Yeah, the Texas one to me is the confusing team because I don't see in my scenario where I would much rather have the loser of Ohio State, Michigan get in over Texas. I would rather have the loser of the Washington and Oregon Pac-12 final, unless it's Oregon loses and they have 2 losses. Then I agree, but still, that to me, Texas is the team that is in the conversation still that I do not believe should really be in it.
There's 8 teams in the conversation. There's 8 teams, top 8, and then
1 through 8. I agree,
but it's going to play itself out. I mean, like I do think. I mean, Texas plays Texas Tech this week, and Texas Tech's had their number the last few years. So I mean, you just never know. But I mean, Washington did not look good against Oregon State, and they got to play Washington State. So that might be, we never know. Just never things will work itself out. It usually does.
Yep, I agree. Bryce, you have anything else to talk about other than this Ohio State, Michigan, or the playoff rankings right now?
No, I don't think so. I think we covered it.
All right, Roy, I'll let you take it. What do you want to talk about college football right now? You want to talk about rivalries?
Let's talk about rivalries.
All right.
I want to know what you guys think. I mean, not all across sports. Your top 3 rivalries. There's so many of them. What you think? What do you think are the top 3 across sports?
I'll take this.
All right, go ahead. I'll let you knock your.
I would like to say my 3 uninterrupted by Roy.
Okay.
Because I know I'm going to get interrupted. I'm going to take Bears Packers at number 1. I think that they have the longest rivalry almost, and they have the 2 most wins in all of NFL. So give me them. Even though it's kind of fallen off the past few years and the Bears haven't won as much, it's still great games to watch. Second, give me Lakers Celtics.
Okay.
Because, I mean, 80s, 90s, 2000s, even now, there's still like 2 top teams in the NBA that are playing against each other every year. And then at the 3, give me Boston and Yankees.
Okay.
You have Boston and the Yankees number 3. You are crazy.
Yeah. Roy, what are your top 3? I'm curious to see yours, being a Michigan fan.
Oh, well, I think number 1, I truly think Boston and Yankees are the biggest rivalry in baseball, or the biggest part of sports. I mean, they just hate each other. I mean, completely hate each other. And number 2, close number 2, is Michigan, Ohio State. I mean, there's 2 teams that this just 2 teams do not like each other. I mean, both teams have a workout specifically for the other team throughout the whole season, throughout the whole year.
Yeah.
They're specifically playing for that game. And then I think the third one, in my opinion, is usually Alabama Auburn. I mean, those teams absolutely hate each other. They cannot stand each other. I mean, hell, they was Alabama pissed on the tree that Auburn would throw or did poison the tree that they threw toilet paper on and stuff after wins and killed that tree. I mean, that's hatred. That's what I call about rivalries, or hatred. When you talk about stupid ass Packers Bears, who both teams suck and don't do crap, I mean that's nothing. NFL's nothing. Let's go with the 2 teams that completely hate each other.
Yeah, I thought about this one a lot, Roy. I agree with you at number 1. I think it's Boston and New York baseball. It's old as can be. I know baseball has changed a little bit on how it's played these days versus how it used to be, but you go back 10 years ago, those are some feisty baseball games, and you don't see that in today's game as much, but I agree with you that. My number 2 goes in a little bit different direction, and I know the sport isn't as physical as it used to be, so it might not get that punch that you're really thinking, but I'm going Duke UNC basketball. Those 2 schools can't stand each other, and I'm not really a Duke or UNC fan, but I do like watching those games because it's always a packed house.
That is a good pick.
And then my third one is actually going to go in a different direction. I'm going to go Cubs-Cardinals baseball.
All right.
Now, I believe baseball has the best rivalries because they're so old, but I do agree with you that, baseball and football, it's hard to go against each other because football, you're just beating the crap out of each other. Baseball, usually you're not beating the crap out of each other. I agree. You get into Michigan, Ohio State, you get into Alabama, Auburn. That could definitely be a great rivalry. But just for me, I think I view the Cardinals and the Cubs being a great rivalry. So that was my top 3.
I mean, Dodgers and Giants is a good baseball one too. I mean, they hate each other. So, baseball has, each sport has their own. I mean, back in the day, you couldn't. Browns and Broncos hated each other because they were in the same division back in the day. But now they don't. I mean, there's just different things that could happen. back in the day. So that are different now. Sports have changed, but some of the rivalries have not. So that's why I say
I agree.
and Boston have never changed. It doesn't matter if they're good or bad; they hate each other. And the way with
I know.
Michigan and Ohio State, always stay they hate each other. So,
all right, you got anything else you want to talk about, Roy, in college football?
no, ready for this week. Ready for Saturday morning. Anybody that texts me, calls me, or does anything, they may get some choice words to them. So I don't at 11 a.m. They're on TV. Will be.
I'll be sending some text messages.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Yeah. It better be. Hey, I'm sorry, Michigan's whipping the shit out of OSU.
It should be a good rivalry Saturday here for college football. Now we're going to go into Josh's advice, Bryce's facts, and Royce's old man wisdom. And I'm going to go in a different direction. Last week I did some gambling advice. My advice is for the Los Angeles Chargers, guys. It's time to fire Brandon Staley, however you say his name. I have never seen a more talented team lose so many one-score football games. And I'm not saying he's doing anything wrong with his play calling at the end of the game, but it's all game long. They cannot score points, or they cannot stop the defense from giving up points. They can't play complete football, and that goes on to the coaching staff. So my advice, fire Brandon Staley.
All right, we'll move over to the Bryce facts. The first one I got is the highest scoring NBA game of all time. It was the Detroit Pistons beating the Denver Nuggets 186-184 in triple overtime in 1983. The second thing I have is the longest tennis match of all time. Lasted 11 hours and 5 minutes. And was played between John Isner and Nicholas Mahut at Wimbledon in 2010. I feel like we would have heard about that in 2010.
Yeah. I could not imagine playing tennis for 11 hours.
I couldn't imagine playing tennis. And then my last fact of the day is the first ever recorded game of baseball was played in 1846 between the New York Knickerbockers and the New York Nine. So,
gotta love some
New
baseball.
York teams.
Heck yeah. That's why baseball's so big in New York.
Yep. All right. So to me, I got 3 rules of getting older that you two need to listen up, because these are happening to you guys. All right.
All right. Let's hear it, Roy.
Hey, just remember, never pass a bathroom. All right. Make sure you use it. Don't waste. Don't waste a hard on. All right. Remember that, Josh.
Okay.
Last one.
God.
Never trust a fart. All right. So just all right.
That's some pretty good old man advice, right?
That is, All
right.
All right. That's going to do it for the Triple Alphas here. And next week we will have our first special guest onto the podcast. Have him talk about a little football game that me and somebody else will be going to.
Oh, yeah.
So that'll be for next week.
To see that.
Thank you guys for watching, and hit the subscribe button on YouTube.
And free Jim Harbaugh. Let's go.
Woo!